Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Fantasy Points live stream here. I'm live here for a Cutline Championship with our partners at NFFC. I'm picking out of the 2 spot here, and Greg Ambrosius is with us to chat with me through the draft and talk a little bit of strategy or whatever happens in the draft. And Greg wants to talk through the Cutline Championship rules and what to expect for tonight's draft here. So go ahead, Greg.
How the hell did you get the second pick? Lucky you.
I know. I wanted the first or second pick. I'm pretty content with that. I didn't want to be in the middle of the draft, so I lucked out here. But we'll see how it all unfolds.
Nothing was rigged. I can promise you that. Yeah, this is called the NFFC Cutline Championship. It's something we devised 5 or 6 years ago. We call it a hybrid best ball. Now, when you do the best ball, you just draft and then you're all done. The computer picks your optimal scoring lineup for 17 weeks, right? Well, this is a hybrid one. It's best ball scoring for the first 10 weeks of the season. 10 teams, 26 rounds, and you do have free agent pickups before week 2, 6, and 10. So again, in most best ball leagues, you don't have any free agent pickups, but this one you do. The top 5 teams in this league advance to the playoffs in weeks 11. And then it's just like the World Series of Poker. You have to stay above a cut line. We eliminate until there's 12 people left in week 17. Those 12 people then play for the $100,000 grand prize. Most points scored basically in week 17 gets you $100,000. So we're playing for $100,000. Didn't take Tom very long to make his pick. Christian McCaffrey is always the number 1 pick in NFFC. Yep. Really, hardly ever does Cook go number 1. I think once in our cut lines he's gone number 1. Alvin Kamara goes number 3, so we've got the 3 running backs.
So
Tom, we're going to see a lot of running backs in these, aren't we?
Can you tell me what's changed since last year? With the extra week added in here. I think it only lasted 9 weeks for the cut line last year.
Correct. The regular season is week 10 through week 10. It's total points. There's no head-to-head in this whatsoever. The top 5 teams in total points advance to the playoffs. So that's different. Then the fab periods have changed as well. It's now weeks 2, 6, and 10. Before week 10, you make your last one. So
yeah, I think it was 2, 5, and 9 last year.
Correct.
If I remember correctly.
So those are the slight differences. And then, of course, we're going through 17 weeks instead of 16 like last year. But otherwise, pretty much the same. 10 teams, 26 rounds. Again, here we see Tom, in almost all of our NFFC drafts, those are the top 4 picks. Derrick Henry at 4. Zeke has really established himself at 5. In the cut line, we do see Travis Kelce move in as the first non-running back. We'll see if that happens tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like Zeke has been a riser here the last month or two. People were a little cool on him after last year's performance and playing behind that offensive line and Dak going out. But people have seemed to warm up to him. And
why? Because he's in the best shape of his life. That's why.
Yeah, that helps. And I think people are realizing that, he's still going to, he still has the chance to get 300 touches again. He's still kind of the guy in that backfield. And, it's going to be a top 5 offense potentially again. So,
yeah, I mean, that could be a really good offense if Dak stays healthy, obviously, and Zeke could be a beast. I mean, Zeke was a beast when Dak was healthy last year. So, again, it looks like he's in good shape. Everybody should be in good shape at this point, but there you go. So Davante Adams goes to 6. Again, Kelce seems to go as the first non-running back in these formats. I mean, whoever is team 6, they must think Rodgers is coming back. I think Rodgers is coming back, but I'm a Packer homer, so we'll see. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I think I'm looking in the draft room here. That person was away, so it must have been the highest ranked person that was on the draft board there. So I don't know if they necessarily wanted Davante Adams, but they're going to be playing with him. And it's not necessary. If we get news here in a couple of weeks at the starting training camp, I'd expect Davante Adams to start to climb back inside of that top 10, top 12 picks. I think people have kind of baked in here just that little bit of a percentage, that 10 to 15% chance that, Rodgers decides to sit out or, whatever he decides to do. So people are.
I don't know if you saw the podcast with Chris Collinsworth and Shefty, but Shefty sure seems invested in Rodgers not showing up to training camp. It's almost like he's rooting for it not to happen right now. Again, maybe I'm a Packers fan reading it the wrong way, but man, that podcast sure made it look like he not only did not think he was coming, but kind of wished he was not coming into camp. We'll see what happens.
I'm sure you're hoping that he changes his mind quickly here, and whatever the front office has to do to ease his feelings and make him feel a little bit better and get him into camp.
It's all about feelings, that's for sure, with Rodgers. I mean, he signed for 3 more years. They signed him to the highest paid contract at the time. They've gone to 2 NFC Championship games. They signed 4 free agents after he signed his contract. They've done an awful lot for him, but it's all about the feelings. He wants to feel love. He wants Jordan Love gone, period. He wants Jordan Love gone.
I think he was a little hurt by that. And,
tough break. I mean, so was Favre hurt by Rodgers being drafted.
I think it also has to do with he thinks that they should have been drafting some wide receiver, or at least making some investments in his receiving core the last 2 years. And
yeah, I hear you. All right, first round, we had Jonathan Taylor at 7th, and then we had Tyreek Hill at 8, Cam Akers at 9. There's Kelsey closing out the first round. In this league, we do not have 3rd round reversal, just so you know. In our 10-team formats, it's just straight serpentine. So, Tom's going to get the 19th pick and he's going to get the 22nd pick, just so you know. So
one guy, he just went off the board, Saquon Barkley. This is as far as I've seen him slip. I think people are a little concerned about that knee. They've been kind of vague about his timeline getting back this season, and there's been a lot of talk that maybe they could ease him into the lineup. So him lasting a 13th overall, I do a lot of best balls on the best ball 10s, and I have not seen him slip into the 2nd round, which is basically what that would be.
I agree with you. He has not gone behind Harris and Akers very much. I mean, his ADP is 8 in the Cutline Championship, so he's usually going there. I think people are getting afraid of him. Where do you guys have him on the cheat sheets at Fantasy Points?
Yeah, I think we've held steady here. We're kind of letting it all play out here. I think we do have him down at 5s right now. We would kind of slim behind the Alvin Kamaras, but I believe we still have him ahead of Zeke Elliott here. Derrick Henry is also ahead of him. So he did post that little social media picture, him working out with his quads and calves all rocked up, and
quads are in the best shape of their lives.
Exactly. So maybe he's trying to put that out there to ease some of the fears around in Giants world there that he's going to be ready to go. But even if
I think you may have to move him behind Elliott. I don't see him going ahead of Elliott in much drafts. That's just my 2 cents here. But all right, we got Barkley, like you said, at 13, DeAndre Hopkins at 14, Diggs. This guy starts out Adams and Diggs at team 6, and then Nick Chubb goes to pick 16. So interesting here now to see what these first 5 picks do. Do they go running back? It's a great start to do it. And there are good guys still out on the board. All right, Antonio Gibson,
Calvin looking at Ridley. He goes off the board right in front of me here. So I'm looking at Aaron Jones or Joe Mixon here. I think I'm going to go with Aaron Jones. Nice little price there. He's typically off the board within the first 15
Absolutely. At 19, it's a steal. How could you even consider Mixon ahead of Jones there?
So I got a little NFC North action going here. I got Dalvin Cook and Aaron Jones as my top.
They're fighting in your locker room right now. I can see it.
Let's see what Ranahan does here. He's got the turn, and then it's back to me here. I got some good
team
options.
1. I mean, we're not giving out any names, but this guy has won 2 national championships, 1 with us. So he's a very good player. We'll be interested to see what he does here. But yes, team 1 in front of you is a very veteran, good player in the fantasy industry.
Yeah, I need to. I should be using our fantasy points generator. It's now live on the site. I haven't tested it out. I'm not using it for the draft tonight, but I've heard a bunch of good things. We've done a bunch of updates to the new version here from last year's version. Here it's moving at very fast speeds, and we've added a bunch of new technology to it. We're going to have like little Hanson's hints in there to help you draft smarter. So if we're getting the draft season here, training camp's just 2 weeks away. Yeah. So if you're looking for a little aid to help your drafting, I would make sure to check that out.
Well, you better use it next time, and you can tell us what it recommends for you to pick each time. That'd be awesome.
So, the guy right in front of me takes Darren Waller and DK Metcalf. I was looking at both of those guys, so I don't know what I'm going to do here. Mixon's still on the board. Receivers are Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown. I already have Dalvin Cook in my lineup. Yep. I'm a little hesitant to go Jefferson here. I might go George Kittle's here too. I think I'm going to go A.J. Brown. Go for the upside start there. Yeah, I wanted Metcalf or Waller. I got sniped there at the turn, but I'm good with going A.J. Brown there.
Yeah, I mean, you could have gone Mixon. That could have been a flex play in this format. You start one quarterback, two running backs, three wide receivers, a flex, tight end, kicker, and defense. So you could have, but I think getting a top wide receiver was the right choice there.
Yeah, I'm a little leery starting three running backs. You know, I don't do these drafts too much, but you know, I do want to get one of those top flight receivers here.
Right.
It's a long time before I get back to picking. I'm at 39th overall next time I pick. So a lot of those top options would be off the board.
Well, Tom feels like he's patented the Kesenick method: two running backs, three wide receivers. I mean, that was done long before he ever suggested it, but he's patented the name. Okay. So there you got team 5. He's the first one to go with 3 running backs. Elliott, Chubb, CEH is a pretty nice start, though, for team 5.
Yeah, I like that. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's another guy that's kind of been moving up draft boards here a little bit.
He has. He has been moving up in the NFFC as well. As ADP is 17, so he goes 25 there. That's a heck of a value there.
Yeah, he was a guy I was seeing routinely drafted in the beginning of the 3rd round in 12-team drafts, you know, earlier in the summer. But I think the perception around here is getting a little bit better. You know, they're going to have one of the top offenses. Had some real bad luck at the goal line last year.
Right.
You know, had the health issues. So, you know, another year older, a little bit better, you know, goal line luck, playing in one of the best offenses. You know, I think there's good reasons why he's
alone in that backfield. He really is, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's Darrell Williams and Jerick McKinnon who can't stay healthy. So, you know, good. You know, and he was a guy that was routinely a 1st-round pick last year. There was a lot of you know, a lot of hype, a lot of buzz around him. So if you just look at, you know, where he was drafted last year to where he is now, the offense doesn't have as, you know, Sammy Watkins is gone. Don't have as many offensive weapons. So.
You know, he was going 4th.
He could be conceivably in a better situation this year. The offensive line should be improved, and it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense that he's been moving up.
Absolutely. All right, team 6 took a running back at James Robinson and Terry McLaurin, J.K. Dobbins at 28, Michael Thomas at 29, and the 3rd round seems like a bargain for Michael Thomas. And then team 10, he's got one sticker of every color here. He's got the tight end, the running back, the wide receiver, and Mahomes, our first quarterback, off the board. What do you think about taking a quarterback in a best ball? I know it's Mahomes, but I mean, best ball, anybody can score for you each week.
Yeah, Mahomes' price has been a little too high for me. I see the guys behind him with Josh Allen and you know, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott. I don't feel like there's a huge drop off from those guys. So, you know, Patrick Mahomes is probably not going to be in a lot of my teams this year. A lot of my best balls, just because of the sticker price on him. I can get one of those 4 guys behind him, you know, usually a round or so later. So, you know, every once in a while I'll see him drop into the, you know, late 4th round in some 12-team leagues, and then I'll consider him there. But
yeah, his ADP is right around 34, I think, in the NFFC. So he has been dropping into the 3rd round. I think people see him at that spot and go, I can't believe he's still there. I got to take him. They didn't go in thinking they were going to take him. But no, I don't have any arguments for taking Patrick Mahomes. Certainly not in the first pick of the 4th round. But
I like it for this format, too. You know, he did take Travis Kelce in the 1st round there. So, you know, that would be the one reason I might reach for Patrick Mahomes there in the early 4th round in this
double up on big games.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. So I don't have a problem with the selection if you have one of the other big Kansas City receivers there.
Yeah, in rounds 3 through 6 in our 12-teamers, about 23 wide receivers will go off the board. So that's why I like to get 2 running backs if I can, the 1st and 2nd. There is so much depth at wide receiver this year. It's insane how good the wide receiver position is this year, especially in rounds 3 through 6 here. So I think we'll see a lot of yellow stickers here. Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, CeeDee Lamb off the boards. It's interesting, Tom, how CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper are really separating themselves. CeeDee Lamb is, you know, going a dozen or 15 picks ahead of him right now.
Wow. I'm looking at Amari Cooper here myself. Looking down the board here, I'm considering Robert Woods as well here, but I think I'm going to go Amari Cooper here with the 39th pick. Yeah, those guys are really tight for me. I still have Cooper a little bit ahead, but I get I think the concerns are with Cooper's ankle here.
Yeah.
There's talk that he might not be ready for the start of training camp. They've been an issue. The ankles have been an issue here the last couple of years. So, I'm not going to get too scared away if he's not ready for the start of training camp. I just want him to be ready for week 1. So, I have no problems taking him here. So.
Team 1 right in front of you takes Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. He's still going with McCaffrey, building off of him.
Yep, and I'm sure
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's a nice little build here. I'm sure he might be targeting, Matthew Stafford in a little bit here. So, okay.
Going with the Rams stack, possibly.
Let's see. I'm going to go with Miles Sanders here. 42nd overall. The guy that's been falling a little bit here.
He sure has. What do you think of that backfield, though?
Yeah, I think those are the concerns. I mean, they bring in Kerryon Johnson. They bring in Jordan Howard. They draft Kenneth Gainwell. They still have Boston Scott there. But, I do like that, Jalen Hurts, we see with these running quarterbacks, they do help to open up running lanes for their backs. And he's the kind of guy that just needs a little bit of a crease to make some big plays. And I do like him better for this format. He has been a little bit big. He's been, tied to a lot of big plays to start his career. So, I don't have to worry about the start sit format. If he has that 1 or 2 big runs and, at the beginning of the season, I get the best ball format here. So he'll automatically be in my lineup. So I got the 3 backs here early. I'll probably cool off the running backs here the next couple of rounds and load up at the other positions here.
Is Deontay Johnson went right after you and then Adam Thielen. Is Deontay Johnson still gorific or not?
I think he still is. We're still, I think, above market on him. And I think, there's still better things out there for me. He struggled with the drops a little bit last year, but, he's.
You didn't consider gorific Deontay Johnson ahead of Miles Sanders?
I did consider it, but I like we said earlier, there's a lot of good receivers in that 5th, 6th, 7th round.
Yeah.
I see running back kind of falling off here a little bit. So I'm going to get the 3 running backs here early, and then I'll probably hit a lot of receivers here, like in rounds 5, 6, 7, 8, and probably won't be considering a back probably until about 100 picks in again.
Right. We've had 11 wide receivers going here in rounds 4 and 5 already. There's 12. So again, there's usually like 23 in our 12 teamers out of the 36 picks in rounds 3 through 5. So we're going to continue to see wide receivers, I think, go off the board. I do like Brandon Ayuk just went here at 5'8". Your thoughts on that San Francisco? If those guys could all stay healthy, I don't want to say it because I'm a Packers fan, but that team is loaded, and offensively, they get some quarterback play. They've got the wideouts.
Yeah, it all's going to come down to that quarterback play, but they have 2 pretty good ones in Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance, and I'd expect that offense to bounce back here. It was a tough year all around for them in terms of injuries and offensive line injuries, defensive injuries. So, Ayuk has been a guy I've been taking in the 5th round of my 12 team leagues. And, he's kind of in a tier after some of the big guys, but I like this little spot for him here about 50 picks into the draft.
What about Javonte Williams went 49th here? It was Williams, Gaskin, and now Julio Jones. That Denver backfield is really hard to figure out. What do you think? I mean, Javonte Williams now is really separating himself from Melvin Gordon. There's talks that maybe Gordon will be cut by the Broncos. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if he will or not. I tend to lean that he won't, but I do think that they have every intention of kind of giving him the heavier workload. And I don't think they were very satisfied with what Melvin Gordon did last year. And of course he had the off the field incident and just wasn't a great start to his tenure there. And, he's been a kind of a player on decline here, even dating back to his final year or 2 in Los Angeles. So I get why Javonte Williams has been rising up, and he's, a guy that they traded up for in the draft. So they must have big plans for him. And I have no problem with that.
All right, again, 2 wide receivers, Julio and Kenny Galladay. That's 14, and the last 22 picks were wide receivers. Josh Jacobs goes to team 8. Boy, talk about not liking your own back. Josh Jacobs seems like the Raiders aren't enamored by him, even though he's had 2 really good years.
I know they go out and sign Kenyon Drake to a massive deal. I mean, our guy Adam Kaplan, he said he basically can't remember a backup running back deal in the last couple of years quite that size. So, right. He's not just going to be a backup running back. I think they have intentions of using him in the passing game and getting him on the field. And I know that's one of Joe Dolan's favorite stats. And that Josh Jacobs has seen 1 target on a 3rd down snap to start his career. So that he just has no involvement at all in that in the passing game at all. I got sniped there. I wanted Mark Andrews with that.
Look at that. We got 3 tight ends there and 2 quarterbacks. Last 5 picks. Really interesting. Hawkinson going ahead of Pitts. He usually doesn't go ahead of Pitts in the NFFC drafts. Josh Allen was the 2nd quarterback off the board. Dak Prescott, the 3rd quarterback off the board. He's usually the 4th one off the board.
Yeah, I got sniped there a little bit because Mark Andrews was the guy I was kind of targeting there, but I was hoping maybe Dak Prescott or Josh Allen, and 3 picks right in a row there were, guys I was eyeing up there at 59 overall. So, of course I drafted Amari Cooper earlier in the draft. So I was, if Andrews wasn't there, I would have been happy to start building a little stack with Dak Prescott, but not going to get that chance here.
Yep.
So
what do you think of Jamar Chase in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I ended up going up with Jamar Chase here. We saw Justin Jefferson, his college teammate, was essentially the 2nd receiver in that LSU offense behind Jamar Chase, come in and set the NFL record for rookie receiving. So, and just based on the way the Bengals played last year, they're going to throw it a lot. They like to play fast and throw it a lot. So as long as Joe Burrow is, right by some point early in the season, I like the pick. I think there's definitely a little connection there, the LSU connection. So, he's been a target of mine about 60 picks in here. So, I wanted those other guys, but not a bad fallback plan here.
Yep. All right, Travis Etienne and T. Higgins goes to team 1. Team 1 is building a pretty nice stack there. He's got 4 good wide receivers.
I'm going to
2 running backs and a tight end.
I'm going to grab my quarterback here, go Lamar Jackson.
There you go. He's usually the 3rd quarterback off the board. He goes behind Dak. So I think that's a good pick.
That's kind of why I was thinking I might be able to get Andrews and maybe come back around in the 6th round and get Lamar Jackson. But, I wasn't able to connect those 2. But, I should have other opportunities later in the draft with, Marquise Brown and Rashad Bateman and maybe even real late, with Sammy Watkins here. So I'll have other opportunities to build some stacks with Lamar. So, the Kyler one's a little more difficult. I've been kind of drafting Kyler a little bit more than Lamar, but, I don't have DeAndre Hopkins early in the draft. So I'm going to go with Lamar here. It is this best ball and it is the championship format. You want to try to build some stacks. Teams with stacks, typically, they do a little bit better in these championship formats. So, I feel
is that what you do in the best ball 10s as well? Do you try to stack or not?
Depend. If it's in our fantasy points, championship one, I've always tried to. I try to build some sort of connectors. If it's just a regular best ball 10, if it's just, I like to do the top 3 ones. Those are my favorite. That way, if you, the classic, it's the pays out the first place, primarily the first place. I'll try to do more connectors there, but if I'm playing top 3 is kind of my favorite gameplay in the best ball 10. So if I'm just doing one of those regular top 3s, I don't necessarily have to build stacks for those.
Okay. Travis Etienne went at the end of round 6, pick 60. What do you think is going to happen in Jacksonville? I mean, Robinson, I've been on Robinson. He went in the 3rd round. They're talking about making him like a wideout. I just don't see that. But what are your thoughts on what they're going to do with Etienne in Jacksonville?
I feel like it might be a little talk. I mean, Urban Meyer's been known to talk out of both sides of his mouth a little bit. I think at the end of the year, it's going to be primarily Etienne, but I have no problem going James Robinson either. He's played very well, to start his career, and showed he could, certainly handle a lot of carries and a lot of, he did well in the passing game as well. So I think it'll probably be a mix and match of both of those guys early. I would give Etienne the advantage later in the season. So I don't have a whole lot of either guys though, to be completely honest. It's kind of an area of the drafts. They're kind of in that 4th, 5th round. I'm usually in the receiver market or tight end or quarterback market at that point.
Let's look at a couple of these teams that have stacked or started to, like you said, Team 10, Kelsey and Mahomes. Team 7 went Murray, and he's got Hopkins as well, so he's on a start there. Nothing with Prescott, nothing with Allen at this point, but we'll see what that happens. So we'll keep an eye on the stacks as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the person that drafted Dak might be eyeing up Gallup then. The Buffalo one's a little more difficult, if you don't snag Diggs early. It's kind of, that offense is kind of concentrated, between Allen and Stefon Diggs. Not a whole lot of fantasy production from those backs. And, and it's, Cole Beasley's a nice player, but, it's, you're not going to get big plays from him. And, I guess maybe Gabriel Davis or Emmanuel Sanders might be ways to stack it up.
Trust me, that 2-man stack won people a lot of money last year with Allen and Diggs in week 16 when they went off on that Monday night. The guy who won the $100,000, George Melbrod, he won it with Allen and Diggs. The guy who won the primetime, $200,000, he won it with Allen and Diggs.
Diggs was phenomenal at the end of last year. Josh Allen was great all year, but Diggs, I believe it. Those. I remember them playing my Pittsburgh Steelers on a Sunday night football game, and I think it was week 15 or so, and they had all kinds of issues slowing down Stefon Diggs. He did whatever he wanted in that game, so I can believe it that they were on a lot of winning teams last year.
They were on a lot of winning teams, Diggs and Allen, without a doubt. So, and like I said, the $100,000 guy. Yeah, talk about him. I mean, his name is George Melbrod. He's a good friend of mine. He's from San Diego. He's 71 years old.
Oh, wow.
Just likes to do this to keep the time. He said the pandemic was so tough at home. He did cut lines just because it kept him busy, kept his mind occupied. He ends up winning $100,000. And it was a hell of a story. But on that Monday night, I mean, it was just insane how many points he scored. Because if you remember, Kamara had scored the 56 points, on Christmas Day.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
all of those teams were way ahead of everybody else. So, okay, so here's another potential stack. Team 8 goes Herbert, and he's got Keenan Allen there as well. So it's interesting just to see people do that. And let's see how deep they go. Do they go 2 deep, 3 deep, 4 deep? But it's always fun to just see who they team up with their quarterbacks here.
Yeah, that's definitely the predominant, strategy in these Cutline championships.
I mean, in the Cutline, you can win a lot of different ways. There's no way that George left last year and said, "I've got this. I've got it. I've got Allen and Diggs." There's just no way. I mean, Allen, I got him in an auction for like $4 last year.
Oh yeah, he was cheap. Allen, he was going 8th, 9th round or so in drafts last year, and even then people were like, well, just the way this guy's played up to this point, it might be a bit of a reach, but he got that, he got Stefon Diggs in the lineup. It was kind of the big difference maker there, and Stefon Diggs was a guy I kind of whiffed on last year. I just didn't see him coming in.
No, I didn't see it coming.
No, I didn't see him coming in and performing like a top 3, top 5 type of player there, and.
In fact, I thought he might sulk going to Buffalo and such instead.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, and it was quite the opposite. He seemed to be enjoying himself. He was the focal point of the offense, and it worked out well for both sides, though.
I'm keeping an eye on Team 6. He's got Adams in the first round. If he doesn't take Rodgers at some point, I'm going to be disappointed in him. He took Russell there, but let's keep an eye on Team 6, see if he does that. All right, Tom is up again in round 8 here.
Yeah, I'm weighing my options here. I got Juju, I got Odell, I got Devontae Smith, I got Tyler Boyd. I'm gonna go Tyler Boyd, maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll try to do a little Burrow stack on the back end here. I have these guys all pretty close. I already have Jamar Chase on my team here, so we'll see. People might be watching this stream and know that might be my strategy, and might go for Joe Burrow a little earlier. But But I'll take, if I don't get Joe Burrow, I'm still happy getting Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd here. I have Tyler Boyd going off the board right in this area. So, he was a guy that we were digging into them. We've been doing these franchise focuses on the website and doing the team betting previews, and just, he fell off really hard at the end of last year. And, I think people kind of forgot how good he was whenever Joe Burrow was in the lineup here. I'm going to go Noah Fant at tight end.
There you go.
I feel like I need to get my tight end here.
That's the guy that Tom and I have been talking about. That's who we like to target as the 7th or 8th tight end off the board. I think really good talent, 3rd year.
Yeah, I think Teddy Bridgewater is going to be good for that offense too. Say what you will about Teddy Bridgewater, but he gets the ball. He completes a high amount of passes. He gets the ball to his receivers, and this is a PPR format, so that's a little bit better for him as well. So no problem there. But yeah, get back to Boyd there. I just didn't realize he was basically averaging 7 catches a game with Burrow through the first 10 weeks. I mean, probably not going to duplicate that with Jamar Chase replacing AJ Green, but even if he slips into that 5 to 6 catch range, I'll take that in the around 80 picks into the draft.
Yeah. So everyone in the draft right now has a quarterback except for Team 9. Team 1 took Stafford. I do like what Team 1 is doing there. He's got a nice build right now. Team 3 took Tom Brady.
Oh,
go ahead, Team 6. Take Rodgers and get it over with. Come on.
I think Team 6 did show up here. They were the team that was auto drafting early. So
he must have had Adams in his queue because he's not on the top of any list at this point. He's like in the default, he's like 12. So he had him queued up.
Well, that makes a lot of sense then, because I was wondering that myself, because he's been falling down the draft. So I was surprised he went 6. So
no, he definitely wasn't 6 on the default list there. So he takes David Johnson instead of Rodgers. Michael Carter goes to Team 7. Thoughts on Michael Carter going to the Jets?
I like the spot. I do worry that they're just kind of use a lot of rotations at all the skill spots. They got 5 deep at receiver. They got Tevin Coleman, maybe Ty Johnson, LaMichael Pirine as well. But all indications are that Carter was the guy that was standing out. Really, he was standing out in minicamp, and I like his skill set for our game. He can catch the ball pretty well. Had some shades of another North Carolina back, Gio Bernard, coming out. Pretty, a solid runner and a well above average receiver as well. So I like the overall skill set, and he's been a guy right around this range I've been targeting. He's kind of like with that Trey Sermon, Raheem Mostert, one of those last kind of guys that could have bell cow potential. So
they're Team 9. He was listening to the
yes, he was. I guess I'm not building my stack here. Did he at least have T. Higgins? I don't think so.
No, that's interesting. I mean, Burrow going as the 10th quarterback is a little bit of a jump for Burrow. So, he started with 3 running backs, 5 wide receivers. So it's interesting here. I'll see if he goes for a tight end at all. But Burrow is an interesting pick for Team 9 there.
Yeah, that ruins my plans. I was probably going to reach a bit for Joe Burrow, probably with the 99th overall pick. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. So I'll have to build some other stacks somewhere.
Rodgers, Mahomes. That's interesting. I mean, if you go with Mahomes early, well, I guess
that could be sick,
Yeah.
You could have, if Rodgers does end up playing, you could have 2 of the top 3 or 5 quarterbacks in the league. So,
and our scoring system is 6 points per passing touchdown. So the quarterbacks really can add up points in this format. So
yeah, it's a little different, than most leagues where, it skews a little bit more to the running, the running quarterbacks a little bit. So it doesn't.
Yeah, we started this in 2004. I had always been playing in 6-point passing TDs. WCOFF at that point had 4 points. We felt like it was a little bit of a differentiator, and we've just kept it through the years. It really doesn't make the quarterbacks get bumped up any higher. I mean, it's still comparative to other quarterbacks that they're going against. But yeah, if you get a guy who can get 45 or 50 touchdowns, obviously 2 extra points.
Yeah, it kind of evens out the touchdown. The running quarterbacks might have 8 or 10 rushing touchdowns in addition to their 28 pass. It evens it out a little bit. So
A little bit of a quarterback run here we got. You may have to think about a second one there.
I know. There goes my Marquise Brown stack. I'm getting sniped all left and right here.
That's what you get for getting the second pick.
Yeah, that's how the cookie crumbles. I wanted Dalvin Cook with that second pick, but now I'm having a tough time here building some stacks. So guess maybe I'll.
I do like the Herbert Hurts combo.
Oh, there goes the quarterback. I was going to take Tannehill to stack with AJ Brown. Jeez.
You have no stacks left, I don't think.
I know. Oh, that was my backup plan.
Rashad Bateman is your only stack you're going to be able to get, I think.
So yeah, I was looking at Burrow, and then Marquise Brown and Tannehill go off right in front of me as well. So this draft is not going as planned, but that's the way it goes here. I'll have to improvise on the fly here.
So you do see more people taking two quarterbacks here in the 10th round. Josh Allen, Tannehill is interesting. Again, I like the Herbert Hurts one. All right, you're on the clock this time, Tom.
All right. Well,
Q has been wiped out.
Yes, it has.
See, we got 1, 2, 3.
I'll go Raheem Mostert here. See if he can hang on. I could see both him and Mostert, getting close to 200, kind of splitting that work. It sounds like they do want to be a very run heavy team, and they're going to be in a, pretty favorable spot with their schedules, a lot of positive game scripts. So,
well, I was going to talk to you about Sermon because we've been talking about Mostert and Sermon. I mean, if Mostert's healthy, you would think he would get a lot of the carries. He certainly proves it when he's healthy. Staying healthy is the hard part. That being said, Sermon has looked really good with Ohio State last year.
Yeah, and I think, you gotta. I lean towards the younger player, the young ascending player, and as you said, Mostert's been on and off the field here a bit, and he is getting up there. He's not old, but he's getting into his late 20s here. So, maybe there is a bit of a cliff here coming. So, I've definitely been leaning more towards Sermon in my drafts. I've seen him going basically a round or so before, Mostert, and I get it. I understand completely why, Sermon, the younger, more intriguing talent, is going ahead of Mostert. So.
All right, team one takes a second tight end before a second quarterback.
All right.
And now you got a decision.
All right. I'm going to go Curtis Samuel here.
All right.
Let's see. Well, so Ryan Fitzpatrick will get drafted in front of me.
I was looking at stacks. You got a Cousins Cook stack if you want it.
Yeah. That's not ideal, but
but your wide receivers, you don't have any stacks left with your wide receivers. So
no. So yeah, I was looking at maybe Mike Williams there as well, but Justin Herbert's off the board. So I'll go Curtis Samuel here. Maybe I'll be able to build a stack, with my second quarterback. Maybe I'll go Ryan Fitzpatrick, but we'll see how it all kind of shakes out here.
Anything surprising you in this one so far?
Just, I guess I'm a little surprised at the number of quarterbacks that have gone inside the top 100. But this is my first of these, the Cutline Championship drafts. When I took Tyler Boyd there, I thought there was a pretty good chance that I thought, Joe Burrow would come back to me at 99 and at 102, and that was not the case. So. Learned a little lesson there, but I guess that would be the one thing. I'm just a little bit surprised at the number of quarterbacks that have gone early.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the number of teams that doubled up on quarterbacks that early in the top 10 picks. But again, a lot of times when the quarterbacks go in this format, as in best ball formats, they go in a hurry. They'll go in a row. So
and that's there was other people taking quarterbacks in that range, and people thought, hey, by the time it comes back to me and however many picks, I might not be able to get the guys I might be wanting. So I totally get it. So
but Hardman is a guy in best balls who is not very consistent. You don't ever want to start him in season long, but
No.
in a best ball, he could go off, right?
Yeah, that's the thinking there. I mean, he's kind of been disappointed at this point of his career, but he's capable of those big blow up games, and this is certainly he's entering his third year. He's still only 23. He was a pretty young guy when he came into the league, so you'd think Sammy Watkins is gone. Don't really bring in any of the receivers here, so he's kind of getting elevated into that second wide receiver spot. The reins might be taken off him a bit, and we'll see if he can be a more complete receiver. It's kind of been an all or nothing type of deal with him so far in his career.
Yeah, that's my concern, is like they drafted him because they thought that Tyreek Hill was going to be suspended. He was going to be Tyreek Hill. He was never like a compliment to Tyreek Hill. So I'm not so convinced he is a number 2 wide receiver. I mean, Kelsey is the number 1 or number 2, and those two complement each other. Well, your handcuff, A.J. Dillon, went in round 11. I'm interested to see what the thigh master does this year with the Packers. I think he's gonna get some carries this year.
Yeah, I think so too. That's why I ended up getting Aaron Jones at 19. I kind of like Aaron Jones. Jamal Williams was a guy that played a lot of passing downs. I don't necessarily think A.J. Dillon has that skill set. I don't know if he'll ever develop that skill set.
In OTAs, he was catching everything.
Oh, I'm sure he was. The OTAs, they catch everything. they're the best at that. So, I'm hoping that, Aaron Jones can eat up a little bit more of that passing game, and maybe break into that upper tier, with those other top receiving backs. So, but yeah, I would also expect AJ Dillon to take on a much larger role, because I think the front office in Green Bay is kind of hesitant to really give Aaron Jones 70% of the snap. Really put too much on his plate, especially.
No, and rightfully so. I mean, I think they play him enough. They rest him a second series usually, and you just can't have him do 350, 370 touches. He just doesn't have the body for it. Team 10 goes Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette back-to-back to lock up the Tampa backfield. Kind of interesting there, don't you think?
Yeah, I kind of like the move. I'm just a little bit worried that, there's other bodies there. Giovanni Bernard might play a role here. Maybe he kind of takes that old James White role in the, from the Patriots offense under Tom Brady. But, I think with the way Leonard Fournette played last year, I think they would be kind of silly to take him off the field too much. I do think it's probably going to be, some sort of like 45, 35, 20%, kind of a split between those three backs in that backfield.
Right.
So
Team 8, interesting, takes his third quarterback, Trey Lance. I mean, it's a gamble. It is round 12, though. You still need to get depth in this format, but he takes his third quarterback. Here's what I got to ask you about. Robert Tonyan goes to Team 6. I'm just shocked that Tonyan keeps going like the 11th, 12th tight end. I mean, I know I'm a Packer fan, but I think he had 11 touchdown receptions last year. If Rodgers is back, isn't he a bargain at the tight end position?
I think he is. I think people might be a little bit worried that he was a bit too touchdown dependent. It was very contingent on his receiving production last year. I mean, his touchdown production last year. So I get why there might be some concerns there, but I do think he played well enough that they should factor him more into the passing game. More routes, more targets, and that, as we said, they didn't really upgrade the rest of the wide receiver core in Green Bay.
But I do think Amari Rodgers is going to be that slot receiver that LaFleur really likes. He's going to put him in motion, jet sweeps, that kind of stuff. He's about 212 pounds. He's not a little guy. He's not tall, but he's not a little guy. So I do think he has a chance to help that offense. They were getting a slot receiver one way or another. That's for sure. They needed that. All right. Team 1 takes a second quarterback, Stafford and Wentz. Team 2, are you thinking pink at all?
Ooh, I'm going to kind of hold off here, I think.
All right.
I think there's enough quarterbacks to come back around to me here. Guy I kind of have warmed up to a little bit over the summer here. I'm going to go Jonnu Smith. I think the Patriots have some plans to get him involved. I wouldn't be surprised if he's kind of the leading receiver in New England. I know they did bring in Hunter Henry as well, but I think they might have more plans for Henry to play in line. I could see Jonnu Smith kind of being their move tight end and, playing the old Aaron Hernandez role that, they used back, 10 years ago or so. So he's a guy that's been kind of moving up my draft boards here a little bit and kind of needed a second tight end. I went Noah Fant early. I'm not sold on Noah Fant, being a top 10 tight end. So I feel like I should get a little bit of insurance at tight end here.
Yeah, I'm interested in Hunter Henry there. I mean, they signed them both, big free agent contracts, obviously, but if healthy, Hunter Henry, could be pretty solid. I don't know if Cam can get him the ball or not, though. That's the only thing.
That's the thing. I'm hoping, as somebody that just drafted Jonnu Smith, that we get Mac Jones in the lineup relatively early in the season. But we'll see how it all kind of plays out. It sounds like they want to go into the year, give Cam some starts and, see what he does. But based on what we saw last year, I just don't know if we see him last the entire season. I wouldn't be surprised if by November we see Mac Jones coming into the lineup. So
Jamal Williams in Detroit. What do you think happens in Detroit with DeAndre Swift? They seem like they don't like the guy. What's up?
Yeah, that was an interesting signing because they didn't really sign anybody else that was not one of their free agents to a multi-year deal. So they clearly liked him and were targeting him, and feels like they have some big plans for him next to DeAndre Swift. And of course, Anthony Lynn was talking about him being his A back, the power back between the tackles backs. So that's why we've seen Swift falling down draft boards here.
I know, 37th. I mean, before the NFL draft, he was going in the second round. So he's fallen an awful lot, and rightfully so, because nobody can trust what they're going to do in Detroit at this point.
Yeah, it's a complete wild card up there, but I still think Swift is going to be awfully effective in the passing game, and there's a path to him being one of the top receiving backs. So just the concern, as you said, we were talking about Green Bay's backfield a little bit with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams. He's very reliable in pass protection. They're not they were never afraid to get him on the field with Aaron Rodgers. So that would be the one concern, that they kind of split up those passing down snaps.
Yeah, no, Williams is great in pass protection. He's got good hands too. He's a good third down back for sure. I know they'll use him there. All right, now the key is depth. That's what everybody's looking at. They're trying to, again, we go 26 rounds, so we're halfway through already. And you want as many running backs, wide receivers as you possibly can. We haven't seen any defenses go off the board, kickers go off the board. I do think once you start seeing defenses go off the board, they're going to go off in a hurry, a lot of them in a row, because people like to stack up a couple of defenses. So we'll look for that.
I'll keep my eye out, because being on the ends of the draft, it is a little scary whenever you start to see a run and you're like 10, 15 picks away. And you just hope that there's enough quality to come back to you.
Right. Now, it's better to be in front of those runs than behind them. I say that.
Yeah.
Just when to anticipate them is the big thing.
I got caught behind the quarterback run there. I don't want to be caught behind the defensive run here. I'm not going to go defense here. I do need to take some quarterbacks here.
So only 3 quarterbacks went off the board since your pick.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a stack with him, but I feel like he has some big game potential. I'm going to take Justin Fields here. Not necessarily a guy that needs to be stacked up. I'm thinking, he's kind of like Lamar Jackson. He can get the rushing independent stuff, but I'll go with Justin Fields there.
Well, as a Packer game, I hope he sucks.
All right.
Well, Bears have waddled with terrible quarterbacks. It's been fun to watch, but I guess got to root for the kid. He was very good at Ohio State.
Yeah. Well, right now, if this was a typical draft, I'd probably go Elijah Moore or Marvin Jones, but I need to build a stack here somewhere, so I got to take a Rashad Bateman here at 142.
There you go.
I got some sort of stack going here with my first quarterback off the board.
I do know the Packers loved him, and I think they were going to take him if Baltimore wouldn't have taken him.
Yeah, I think Baltimore probably knew too. They must.
Yeah,
have
I think they did too.
some intel there because they snatched him up. Did they move up or did they just have 2 picks? I can't remember. No, they had the 2 picks because they took the Penn State kid.
They did, right,
with the 2nd pick there. So they didn't want to they didn't want to take that chance that Bateman wouldn't be around for that second.
He would have been big size in Green Bay. They've seen him a lot. I think he would have been a nice fit in Green Bay.
They do like those receivers with size out there in Green Bay. The nice big targets for Aaron Rodgers.
That, and when in the winter you need to have bigger size because you're not going very fast in the winter on the frozen tundra.
You need to box out the fenders and have big strong hands.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you got 7 wide receivers right now and 4 running backs.
Yeah,
2 quarterbacks. 2.
But that's not uncommon for me at this point in my best ball. I like to load up on receivers. Because that's there's 3 wide receiver spots in our lineups, and
most guys have 4 or 5 right now. You're not out of the norm at all. Most guys have 4 or 5 running backs right now.
So
there goes Elijah Moore.
Yeah, that's a guy. I probably would have went Marvin Jones or Elijah Moore in a normal draft there, but I just wanted to build that stack with Bateman and Lamar Jackson. So I reached a little bit for Bateman. I think he typically probably would have lasted another 5.
I do like Elijah Moore in the Jets. I mean, again, that's another one the Packers liked. I think first round would have been too early for them, but I did like Elijah Moore for sure.
Yeah, he definitely has some like Antonio Brown vibes coming out of as somebody that watched him a lot at Pittsburgh there. So Elijah Moore, probably going to be one of my most drafted guys in my best ball drafts. He's a guy you can get for pretty cheap, and I do worry that they do go 5 deep at receiver. They might rotate a lot of those guys, but I think he probably him or Corey Davis have the best chance of kind of emerging as the go-to receiver there. So and he's much cheaper than Elijah Moore. So.
Team 9 with 3 tight ends, but the Ertz one, I mean, it's a shot right now. If he does get traded, let's say to Buffalo or wherever, I mean, he's got to get traded, don't you think?
I would think, or teams are just going to play chicken with the Eagles. I don't, maybe the Eagles would let him go before the start of the season, but I would think Indianapolis might have some interest as well. They really haven't addressed their tight end position. Of course, they have Carson Wentz and Frank Reich there as well. But I would still think there might be some movement there. So Ertz certainly PPR god there for many years until last year, until he was banged up.
Hunter Henry goes to team 10. That's the second tight end with Kelsey, and he takes the first defense off the board. It's the Washington football team. The Rams are usually the first defense off our board in NFFC drafts, but Washington, obviously, with the sack groups that they have there at the front line, can't complain, I guess, of them being the first one.
No. Yeah, they were one of the best units last year. They did strengthen their secondary as well, getting William Jackson. That was kind of their big weakness on that team, and that linebacker. And they drafted Jamin Davis there in the first round. So, the only real 2 weaknesses they had on defense they addressed in the offseason. So it's tough to find many weaknesses with that defense, and they have a pretty formidable front 4.
All right, team 9 is going with 4 tight ends, which is very interesting. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 5 wide receivers and 2 running back. Or no, I'm sorry, I got to pull down there. Okay, but still 4 tight ends. That's an interesting one there for team 9.
Yeah, we have a couple teams with just 1 tight end at this point.
Yep.
So interesting build. Yeah, they're.
I don't think they expected 5 tight ends here to go in the last 8 picks.
Yeah, they're going to be playing behind the 8 ball a little bit, but there's still some guys out here that are at least a little bit intriguing at the tight end position here.
All right, here's next 2 teams. He says, "No way, I don't need a tight end." Team 4 takes his second tight end. 2 defenses so far, no run that I predicted, but we'll see. You think Jared Cook's got any chance in the Chargers to rejuvenate?
I don't think it's a I don't know if rejuvenate, but he should be a better fit with Justin Herbert, I would think.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Yeah, let's see what I should do here. I'll go
Mayfield to team 3, not a bad dart throw there as your third quarterback.
So I just went Nelson Aguilar. He certainly provided a lot of big plays for the Raiders offense last year. So, all right, I need a. All right, get my third quarterback here. I have a little bit of. I have Devontae Parker already, so I'll make a little build here with Tua. Hopefully it'll bounce back for him.
You think he will?
Can't get much worse.
No.
I think that, he's got a full off season now. Yeah, it was a tough spot for, rookie quarterback coming off a major injury like that. He's in the unenviable position. You got a veteran that's well liked and performing pretty well there in Ryan Fitzpatrick. So I think he's going to be in a lot better spot here. They obviously add Will Fuller, Jalen Waddle with the number 6 pick. So it's setting up pretty nice for him. I don't know if I'm expecting him to be, a top 15 fantasy quarterback, but I think there's certainly more upside to him this year. It was pretty ugly last year.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. He also said he didn't really know the playbook that well. I mean, that's a hell of an admission, first of all, but I would think, like you say, without the off season and such, now he does have the whole off season. He should be better acclimated. I think he's going to have a good season as well. I mean, he's so talented. He has the arm. He has the talent. He just needs to get into the playbook and get into the system here.
Yeah, and he'll be a lot healthier this year as well, too. So.
All right, Team 5 still with just George Kittle. You better hope Kittle stays healthy. He's got time for backups, but little risky.
That's a little bit of a gamble with George Kittle, but
yeah,
he's been a little bit injury prone in his career.
Right.
Okay. All right, Ben has texted me here. I think we have our Warrior Bowl winners. Let me pull that up real quick.
Still only 2 defenses. I thought there'd be more of a defensive run here. I know. Not a big deal, but usually when you do see a couple of first ones go.
So we partnered with this Warrior Bowl. It's like a 480-man competition. It's kind of similar to the Scott Fish Bowl, but not nearly on that scope. But, it's 480 teams, broken down by division. And it's kind of like the Cutline Championship, too. The top teams. And it's all for charity as well. Yeah. So, the best teams from each division advance, and it gets cut down till there's eventual champion. And we had three teams. We were drawing for three teams to be drawn into the league of the 480 exclusive there. So all 22 finalists, Cannon and Pete Scherzer won. They were the big winners. So all 22 finalists, Cannon and Pete Scherzer won were the 3 big winners to get teams into the Warrior Bowl. So congratulations to you guys. And I think Joe Dolan is our guy doing the draft for our site. So good luck beating Joe Dolan. He's quite the good drafter. So good luck to you guys.
Very good. Can never have enough contests, that's for sure.
Exactly. Keep the interest in fantasy football going.
That's right. I don't know about you guys, I'm sure you're seeing the increased attention, but I think this is going to be a historic year for the fantasy football space. I really do. We're seeing signups already. Our biggest contests are already sold out. We've got a $20,000 entry fee league called the Platinum. That's sold out already. We've got 2 $10,000 ones called the Diamond. Those are both sold out already. And Ultimate. I mean, it's been a good start already, and I can hardly wait till training camps open because I just think it's going to be a historic year for the fantasy football industry.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously started our site, first year during the, COVID-19 outbreak. Yeah. Not the most ideal of starts, but we even saw it last year. Once that there was football was coming, people got excited. So football is going to be coming earlier this year. It's going to be coming at the end of July. We'll get the preseason games. We'll get the camp reports coming out. Yeah. It wasn't, there weren't reporters at camps last year. Yeah. There wasn't news circulating. So I think people juices will get going earlier, and there's going to be a lot of interest in it this year. So we're looking forward to it. We've certainly made our mistakes last year. We did a lot of good things as well. So we'll clean up those mistakes and hopefully put out an even better product, for fantasy points there. So
absolutely,
we're really looking forward to the season, though. We're if you've been checking out the site, anybody that has, I mean, we have multiple articles going up every day, and we haven't even gotten to training camp, so we're awfully excited as well.
Yeah, I hate to bring up COVID because we should be in a place where we don't have to worry about that. But tonight, the Yankees-Red Sox game is called off because Yankees have COVID. So
I saw that.
Insanity.
Yeah, that's tough. Oh man. I'm sure that's a big series too. They kind of made that a standalone game there.
They did.
They out of the All-Star break, you got two of the premier franchises, and it seemed like the MLB was getting a little bit of momentum off the Shohei Ohtani thing, the All-Star game, all the home runs being hit in Coors Field, and the MLB takes one step forward and they take two steps backwards.
They're good at that. Sometimes they take more than two steps back, and if they don't get a collective bargaining agreement done, they're going to take a lot of steps back. Trust me.
It's a league that they get in their own way a lot.
They do.
All right. Okay. It's back
even the
to
All-Star tradition. I mean, they always wore their own jerseys, and then they had to go out and put them in some monkey uniforms.
Yeah. What the heck was that? Those were some awful looking uniforms. Okay. I can build a little bit of stack. I said I don't know if I was going to be able to build a stack with Justin Fields, but Cole Kmet was available 180 some picks into the draft. So I got at least a little bit of a stack for Justin Fields. So
You've got small stacks going. I'll say that.
I got a bunch of small stacks. Not ideal ones. None of the so-called top receiver. Well, I might consider Devontae Parker the top receiver for Tua, this year.
Yeah,
I think people
All-Star game uniforms because it was the dumbest idea. I'm sorry, but it's just tradition that they wear their own uniforms. If you look at the All-Star teams of the 80s, the Pirates would come with their yellow uniforms, right?
Yeah, the train.
They were fantastic, and they just were great pictures. Then they put them in these monkey uniforms, and they were terribly designed, and it would be like you'd make it to the Super Bowl, and then they would put you in uniforms. The NFL would put you in uniforms. That's the comparison. Just stupid.
Well, you know what that's for, though? They probably sold some shirts. So
I hope they did.
That's all it comes down to. These leagues are looking to sell.
They got blasted on Twitter for how bad they were, so I'm not sure how many they sold, but we will see.
I know. And it looked great in the home run derby. They're wearing their the crisp, clean, white uniforms, and they're wearing the hats, the team hats, the regular outfits there, and
it
looks great.
Should be. Yep.
All right.
I will admit, I don't ever watch any of the All-Star games, any sport. I don't watch the Pro Bowl. I don't watch the baseball. I don't watch the basketball. I mean, I don't need half-hearted people playing, so it doesn't turn me on at all.
No, I get into the skill. I watch the home run derby. I do like the spectacle of that. That is like one thing I always turn in for. But yeah you're right. The All-Star games, they have no interest to me. I'll check the box score the next day. It wasn't even, there was nothing going on Tuesday, and it wasn't even on my TV. I was taking a little sports break on Tuesday with the NBA finals on break, and and obviously NHL is done right now. So
all right, so you took the Steelers defense. That's a good pick, and you do need a defense. But you also are a Steelers fan, as I can see from the background there. So is that a homer pick or was that a smart pick?
A little bit of both. They were probably the best team on the board there, and I still think that they'll have one of the best pass rushes in the league, and they have some playmakers in the secondary, and hopefully Devin Bush gets back to back in the middle of that defense off his ACL surgery. So did lose some talent, but I still think it has the potential to be a top 5 unit again.
Team 8 is was he the first one? Yeah, he was the first one too. No, team 7 and 8 took 2 defenses here. So again, a little bit of a run, not as much as we sometimes see here.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to get my defense out of the way, because I knew I was going to be 20 picks away. So I figured there would at least be a small run. So I didn't want to be, picking 2 defense is on the way back, and I'm picking two teams in the team.
No, I mean, a good defense can average 10 or 11 points per game in our scoring system, and an average one can average 4 or 5, and certainly, an extra 4 or 5 points a game. And in this best ball, of course, a good defense can get a couple pick sixes and really put up some points. So I think you definitely want to get one.
Yeah. So yeah, got it out of the way early in case the run happens here. As I see some more Baltimore Ravens.
Final starting quarterbacks are going off the board here. Jameis Winston, Jimmy Garoppolo. Again, Team 8's got 4 quarterbacks. I have nothing against that. Again, you never know during a long season who gets hurt, who's still needed. So depth for sure. 49ers defense took a little while for them. I think they have the potential to be better this year if Bosa stays healthy. So it's a good bargain right there.
Yeah, I like that one. They've been one of my favorite. I picked them pretty early.
Yeah, they got to stay healthy this year. They just were ravaged by injuries last year, but they have the talent to contend for the NFC title, I think, this year.
A little bit of concern in the secondary as well. Yep. They're a little thin. If they have an injury or two, they got some guys that have picked up injuries in the past. So
we do use team kicker in all of our contests this year. I mean, if last year was the first year that we did that, it went over very well. It actually saves roster spots. You don't always have to back up a kicker in our regular ones. In this one, you don't have to worry about guys getting hurt or cut. You get the Baltimore. You're basically drafting Justin Turner, but you get the Baltimore team kicker there. So 2 kickers off the board, Butker with the Chiefs and Turner with the Ravens.
I need to get a running back here.
And with our team defense, you do get the special teams touchdowns. That's one thing we do in the NFFC. We give, if a punt returner takes it back for a touchdown, they get the 6 points, and the individual punt returner would too if you had him in your starting lineup as well.
Okay. I like that. So I guess like
we don't see a whole lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a Mecole Hardman might have a little more value there.
Right. There's not a whole lot of them anymore.
No, yeah, it's kind of rare. I guess I gotta.
There's our 3rd kicker off the board.
Oh. Guess I should get a defense again.
We're in round 21, so we got 6 rounds left, and then that's it. These go pretty quick.
Yes, they do. I want to take the Bills defense there, but I do have the Steelers who are on bye in week 7, so I'll go with the Kansas City Chiefs instead there. See if they actually.
Tom and I were talking about Damian Williams last night. We had an auction on Monday. I got him. I did take David Montgomery and used him as a handcuff, but I'm telling you what, Williams could get some carries if anything happens to Montgomery for sure, but he's a talented back. That's a pretty nice handcuff there.
Yeah, he almost won the MVP in the Super Bowl the last time we saw him.
We probably should have.
Yeah, we're not hearing great stuff on Tariq Cohen. It sounds like his recovery is a little slow. And
correct.
I'm sure you guys have seen it in the ADP with him.
Yeah. That's what we were talking about last night. It doesn't look like Cohen's going to be ready for the start of the season. So, I mean, Damian Williams is going to get some touches here.
And obviously everybody needs good knees, but he needs his explosiveness more than Mo. He's such a small back.
Yeah.
He's that jitterbug type that, he needs to have the quick cut ability. And, if he's a little bit slow at all, that's not good at all. So Damian Williams has been kind of rising up in my draft boards a little bit. Tariq Cohen was kind of off my radar to begin with, but that's why.
And Tariq Cohen goes to team 6, round 21.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill. All right, give me a prediction. What happens in New Orleans?
I think Jameis is the starting quarterback, but I kind of like his odds. Taysom Hill. I think he's like sitting plus 175. We haven't gotten to the Saints for my team betting previews, but I feel like I might be giving that out. He's been pretty effective whenever he's been in the lineup. They played really well with him as the quarterback last year. Sean Payton's not going to put up with turnovers. If Jameis Winston's playing sloppy in camp or the preseason, I wouldn't be surprised if they go with Taysom Hill to start the year.
But I think Sean Payton thinks he's a quarterback whisperer and he can turn Jameis around. And as a former number 1 overall pick, I can prevent the bad throws. I think I can do this with Jameis. That's what I see from Sean Payton.
I don't disagree with you there, but I also think, Taysom Hill's kind of been his pet project here for the last couple of years. He started out with your Packers team there.
He sure did. He had a great preseason too. In fact, people were just talking about this guy. He just jumps off the pager, and then McCarthy cuts him, thinking he can re-sign him. Yeah, that was definitely a McCarthy thing, and he liked him, but he didn't want to keep on the final roster, and Payton scooped him up.
I gotcha.
But McCarthy never would have used him the way that Payton did. There's no way he would have just kept him as a backup quarterback.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of how he stuck on that Saints roster. Yeah, it was all special teams and kind of worked on the side there as a quarterback. Worked on.
He wasn't doing any of that with Green Bay, so I don't think he would have progressed the way he did if he had stayed with Green Bay.
Mm-hmm. Now I gotta ask you. So, is that the team kickers? That's new this year.
That's new. That was last year we did it because of COVID.
See, I thought it was still individual kickers last year. Maybe I misremembered that.
It depends. What was it? Best ball tens?
No, I thought we were doing cut lines last year. Because I think I had Koo, and he was, excellent.
Maybe it was. Maybe it is. We started it in the prime time in the online championship. Okay. You might be right that this is the first year at the cut line that we did. I think you might be right. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. It just takes a little bit of the headache away.
It does.
I hate.
But again, you have to really back it up on our 20-round leagues. You got to really back up that second kicker. You can't afford not to.
Yeah.
And with COVID, obviously, you had to. So we just felt team kicker. Let's go for it. Draft 32 of them and be done.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot. As someone that I've eliminated kickers for most of my leagues, and it's more of a headache than anything else. And there's very little to gain. Managing it, and sometimes you can gain a lot, but
it can. Yeah.
But it seemed like it was more headache than it was actually.
We're not getting rid of them. I can tell you that. Yeah. Because there is scoring, but
no, I like going to the team kicker format though better. And that that is the one position that has a lot of turnover during the season as well. Yep. A guy misses a couple kicks and he's cut the next day. And then on Monday the next day. So
yeah,
I like that little twist. All right.
All right, we're going to let you make these next two picks, and we're going to ask you if you like this team or not as you're getting near the end.
All right. I need to give it a good look over.
You come in, Cole. You come in.
Oh, I'm on the board. I'm going to go Darrington Evans here. He's been getting a little bit of buzz in camp here, mini camp and off season, and just tough for him to break through, obviously with Derrick Henry there, but maybe he carves out a role as a receiving back. And, obviously Derrick Henry's coming off a bunch of carries the last 2 years.
Sure has. I mean,
I don't wish it upon him, but maybe there might be wear and tear, and maybe he picks up an injury or two. So.
I don't have him anywhere this year, Derrick Henry, and I'm not against him being a top 5, but I think the wear and tear has got to catch up to you pretty soon. I mean, I don't want to bet against him, but
no,
it's a lot of carries over the last 3-4 years.
All right. Get my first team kicker out of the way here with the Buffalo Bills.
Okay, so give us a little recap here before we wind this thing down.
Okay,
what do you think?
I got Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, and Tua at quarterback. A lot of the rushing upside with that group.
Yep.
I figure Lamar Jackson will kind of be my go-to guy there, and hopefully Justin Fields gets onto the field somewhat early. I've been finding myself drafting him a bunch of best ball 10s, and whenever I draft him, it's usually paired with a high-end type of quarterback to keep me afloat for the first couple of weeks before he gets on the field. Running back, I went pretty heavy early in the draft. I got Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, Miles Sanders, 3 guys in the first 5 rounds there. And then I waited a little bit for Raheem Mostert, has a little bit of upside there. And then Davian Williams and Darrington Evans, just, handcuffs at this point.
Yep.
And then receiver, I got A.J. Brown, Amari Cooper, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, Curtis Samuel, Devontae Parker, Rashad Bateman, and Nelson Aguilar. I think that's a pretty good group. I have some high upside guys with A.J. Brown, Cooper, and Chase. They're capable of the big weeks, the big plays. Then I got a couple safer options with Boyd, Samuel, and Parker. They're more of, racking up the catches and not necessarily as many big plays. And I had to get a couple. I got Bateman. I reached a bit for him, but I wanted to get at least somebody stacked with Lamar Jackson there. And then at tight end, I have Noah Fant, Jonnu Smith, and Cole Kmet. A little worried about the group. I think Fant is a high upside guy. He's flashed a bit over the first 2 years, and a guy that we really liked coming out of college, out of Iowa there, first round pick. Maybe this is the year he finally puts it all together with Teddy Bridgewater there, but a little bit worried about how many mouths they have to feed there. And Cole Kmet came on late last year, and just hoping Jonnu Smith carves out a pretty big role in this passing game in New England. And then I got the Steelers defense and Chiefs defense. Feel pretty good about that, and then the Bills kickers. So I feel like that's a pretty good group here. Probably get another running back before we're all said and done, and obviously I'd probably get another kicker as well. And then how many rounds do I have left? 3 picks left?
You got 3 rounds left.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the changes I forgot to mention was so the entry fee is $175 for this. We have drafts every night at 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, but mainly the 9 o'clocks have been filling right now. So if you're interested, just go to playnffc.com, look for the Cutline Championship. Again, the entry fee is $175. First place in this 10-team league is $350. This year, we're also paying second place, so $150 for second place. And again, 5 teams advance to the playoffs, and then you avoid the cut line every single week from weeks 11 through 16. And there are 12 teams standing at the end going for $100,000 in week 17. Our goal is to have 2,700 teams this year. So that's 270 leagues. To get down to the final 12 is tough, but it's doable. It's tough, Tom.
I know. I'll tell you what. How many teams was it last year?
I can't remember. It was like 2,300 and something, I believe.
I was going to say, I was in that 22 to 25 range. I was number 8 overall.
Really?
After the first cut, after 9 weeks. And my team just absolutely fell apart in weeks. I think Alvin Kamara hit like a rough. That was right when Drew Brees went out of the lineup. I rode him hard. If I would have gotten through that, obviously, as you said, week 16 he goes off for the 6 touchdowns, and I just couldn't weather the storm. But
it's a lot of fun, isn't it? I mean,
it was. I made a big pickup. My big pickup was Chase Claypool off my waiver wire in week 2. Whenever the first run I think was in week 2. That ended up being a huge addition.
Big one, definitely.
Just couldn't carry it all the way through, though.
That's why. I mean, you're not setting lineups every week, so it's really best ball for 10 weeks. But there are 3 fabs, so there's a little work involved, but really not too much. But the fabs are important. If you're going to draft in June, I mean, some of these were in May and June. You need to have a fab during the season. You just do. I understand best ball. It's got its place. It's fantastic, but this is a hybrid best ball. So, all right, 2 picks here, and then we're rounding out this contest.
I know. I gotta.
Oh, Packers are flying off the board in round 24.
Yeah, Lazard and MBS. All right, I'm gonna go Malcolm Brown here. Not a whole lot of upside, but that backfield's at least a little bit uncertain with Myles Gaskin there, and maybe Malcolm Brown's been a pretty good goal line runner, so maybe he steals a couple touchdowns, gets a little receiving production. So
I think he could. I do.
And then I need one more.
Van Jefferson. Think about it. He was being drafted before Justin Jefferson, I think, last year.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
I'm a little tough spot here. I want to get one more receiver, but I don't see any obvious pairs with my quarterbacks. Well, you know what? I'll go to the best ball format here and go Deshaun Jackson. Hopefully he can stay healthy for more than a game or 2 and provide me a couple big plays.
He could. And maybe he is on special teams and he gets a special team punt return or something.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
I don't have.
I want to thank you, Tom, for doing this. It's been a lot of fun, and we hope to do this with you guys, every week. And I enjoy coming on here and just talking about the contest and talking about the strategies. And everybody has a different strategy here, but at least your customers can see real content. All these people paid for this. They're going for $100,000. This isn't a mock draft.
No,
It's an actual
it is not. This is tough. I mean, that's why I enjoy this. These are the best players that you'll run against, and any money that you win in these leagues, even if you just win your division, you're earning it. So I love doing these drafts, and I love talking a little ball with you. So thanks for setting these up, and I have no problem coming on here and drafting. It sharpens my skills as well. So I need a little practice. I've been doing mostly the slow drafts. Those are my speed this time of year. I'll start getting into the more of the fast best ball drafts. Once training camp opens up, that's when I find myself. I prefer the slow drafts, but whatever your preference is, you can. If you want to start jumping into fast drafts right now, go for it. But if
absolutely,
you like the slower
that's why we want to do this with you guys. Let's do some live streams and show people and get the excitement going. Before we know it, training camps will be open and everyone will know how to play this type of format. So we'll do cut lines. We'll do some other draft champions, best balls. But myself or Tom or Derek will be on here with you, and we'll have some fun with it.
All right, sounds great. So we'll sign off here. This is we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. So. Not too much excitement left. I got one kicker left to take here, so
there you go.
Hopefully it's a good one. So thanks
a lot, Tom. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on, Greg. So thanks a lot, and we'll signing off from the Fantasy Points live stream here. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.